Delighted to welcome Education Secretary Gillian Keegan to the show. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Julia.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We've got a very short time, so let's race through this. First up, let's talk about Gavin Williamson. I'm not sure it's the biggest issue for most of my listeners, to be honest with you, but a cabinet minister resigned, first cabinet resignation. Well, a member of the sits-in cabinet for Rishi Sunak. Was it a mistake for him to be appointed in the first place?
Well, I mean, obviously, Rishi's brought together lots of different people, some with experience, different talents, etc. So that wasn't my decision. But in terms of this specific incident, I think, it's right that he said, I don't want to be a distraction. We've got so many important things to focus on, not only the economy, navigating these global economic challenges, the war in Ukraine is still going on, and we're still getting lots of, threats from Putin, and we've got COP27 and, all of the progress that we're hoping to make there. It is a distraction. There's many, many more important things that we need to focus on. So, I know Gavin said he would, he doesn't agree with a lot of these allegations, but he'll be doing that from the backbenches, and he'll focus on that.
But again, it was an easy target, was it not, for opposition critics and given these allegations? And we've had the likes of Sir Jake Berry, the former party chairman, say that actually, he'd already told the Prime Minister that there was an issue regarding bullying allegations. We've seen even more coming up. It was a mistake. Lots of people are saying that this is about, a Prime Minister who talked about integrity when he arrived at number 10 Downing Street after accepting the job as PM, and then immediately appointed someone that he knew there were allegations of bullying against.
Well, I mean, Rishi does have great integrity and judgment and is super professional. I've worked with him now for a couple of years. I mean, to put into perspective, he didn't have any specific allegations or specific concerns. He hadn't seen any text messages.
He hadn't seen them, but he knew about them. He could have asked Wendy Morton about them if he wanted.
Well, he knew about there was a dispute between two former chief whips, Wendy Morton and Gavin Williamson. And look, now... And he apologised for his language towards Wendy, which is the right thing to do. It was unacceptable to send those text messages, which is what he apologised for.
Telling a civil servant to slit his throat.
What's caused the resignation is some of these other allegations that have come out, which are allegations which are going to go through, obviously, this independent process. And I heard you earlier about the Labour chief whip going through a similar process.
Let's also talk about Just Stop Oil, those protests, because it's a live story breaking this morning. Third day of protest by Just Stop Oil, and on the M25, bringing a lot of that motorway to a halt. And we've seen now 2 lorries colliding and a police officer being hit by a vehicle after that collision. And now seen 2 arrests from activists who scaled gantries and shut down the motorway. As one of my guests said earlier, this is no longer just sort of an annoyance. We are now looking at something that's actually, likely to actually cause reckless endangerment of people's lives.
Yeah, and mass misery and danger to people's lives. And that's why it is unacceptable. Obviously protesting is a fundamental right that we have. But this is why we're trying to get the balance right between peaceful protesting and causing chaos and potentially causing harm to people or danger to people's.
This organisation argue that they're trying to raise awareness. That's always what we're told. We have non-stop awareness on this. If the government just said point blank, listen, we're not going to listen to you bunch of lunatics, it's not going to happen, so go away, no one cares, as opposed to constantly giving in inch by inch to these eco-extremists, then perhaps they wouldn't bother so much anymore.
Well, I don't think we've given in to them, and in fact, we've also introduced new laws. But if you want to actually achieve what Just Stop Oil want to do, COP27 is taking place right now in Sharm el-Sheikh. There's a lot of people discussing practically, constructively, how to do this globally, how to do this in partnership with many, many other countries, how to protect those that are at the front line of climate change. That is seriously how you address this, not by sticking yourself to a part of the M25.
OK, we've seen lots of stories about the budget cuts we're going to be seeing in many government departments. That's going to be affecting your department in education, certainly, as among many others. A report yesterday from the NAHT union saying, after a snapshot survey of 11,000 teachers, that many schools in England are considering cutting teachers, even cutting teaching hours, the horror of a 4-day week, which I think most of us would agree was totally unacceptable from a school. But this is because of budget squeezes. No doubt at all, education has been very, very hard hit during lockdowns. Millions of children didn't get proper education. Millions of children are not getting that catch-up tutoring that they need. Have you been arguing with the new Chancellor and with the Prime Minister that actually education is one area where budgets cannot be cut?
Well, first of all, let me just say that our teachers have done a remarkable job all the way through the pandemic, trying to
get
technology out.
They haven't. Most teachers did. Not all teachers. No, 2 million children had no lessons at all for months on end, and 2.3 million, this is an official report, only had like a sort of one email a week. That is not all teachers doing a wonderful job.
Well, we did have most teachers respond to that, but we also had Open Academy that was there for children to be able to supplement and to get lessons.
Why did they need to supplement if all teachers were doing such a great job, Gillian?
Because not every lesson was on. Turning an education system that is face-to-face where kids go into school into an online experience overnight is not easy. I went into schools myself as a constituency MP as they were grappling with how to use this technology they'd never used before. So I don't think we should underestimate it. And the vast majority of teachers, and certainly I saw most of them, I went into classrooms myself, into virtual classrooms, were trying really hard to keep education going.
Millions of children lost a year of education. Should we be cutting education budget right now?
Of course, we should, focus on children and children in school. The number one thing for children to catch up, and we actually had an increase of £4 billion last spending review, so that cash is still going out now, and we had £5 billion for recovery. So, we had large increases to take account of this. The biggest focus now is, of course, there's been impact, particularly on the most disadvantaged people, or those who were already struggling or had some special educational needs. But the big focus is on recovery and ensuring children can continue with their education. To do that, the number one thing they need is to be in school. Well, so what we're urging is for everybody to, to make sure that kids are in school, attendance is back up to, where it was. We're not quite there. We're getting there, but it's not quite up to full attendance. Okay. And that's the real focus, making sure it's so important. It's a crucial time for our kids.
Gillian Keegan, well, so was 2020 and 2021, but we failed them then, didn't we? Education Secretary Gillian Keegan, thank you very much.